Right, hello there everyone, welcome back to James Redmond TV. What a weird feeling it is waking up on this Tuesday, man. I was going to do this video yesterday, but I'm not going to lie, I still had the kind of jitters from the Villa game that I just didn't really want to record. Like literally editing that live match reaction was the worst thing I've ever had to do. If you haven't watched that, and you don't like me or Liverpool FC, then that's probably the video for you to watch. If you're a Liverpool fan, you probably won't get as much enjoyment out of it, but I do try and find as many positives and stuff like that as I can to try and make it feel any ounce a bit better, if that's even possible. Now, with the possibly worst performance in the club's history, I mean, obviously that's a big statement, but it's certainly one of them in Premier League history as well. It's got to be talked about in that conversation, 100%. Now concluded, I want to talk about in this video, and I want to discuss in this video what I think is next for LFC, whether Liverpool fans should be worried, have the players lost it, or is it just one of them? And maybe, just maybe, what happened in that Villa game was the kick up the arse that Liverpool needed. And the reason why I'm going to do this dead briefly is just because I feel like we do need an answer, just with how random that performance was, just with how bad that performance was. Listen, as a Liverpool fan, and many other Liverpool fans can echo this, we've saw Mario Balotelli in that team, we've saw Ricky Lambert in that team, we've saw Dejan Lovren. When we had him, was one of the worst centre-backs in the league next to Mamadou Sakho, who was no more than average. And that only really started to lift when Jurgen Klopp came in. So believe me, we know what it's like to perform bad on a consistent basis. We know what it's like to lose 3 or 4-0. It's happened plenty of times in my lifetime. But to then have the best team in world football in terms of 11 players based on how they've played, not only just this season and last season, but overall, to then lose 7-2 to Aston Villa, especially after winning the first 3 games of the season against a very dynamic Leeds United team, a sound Chelsea team and an Arsenal team, 2 of the top 6. And then we get slaughtered by Ross Barkley, Douglas Luiz, Jack Grealish, Ollie Watkins, etc. May I go on? So I think it's my job, or all of our jobs in a way, to try and find a justification for this, and that's what I'm going to be doing in this video. But first off, I want to talk about what actually went wrong in the Villa game. Now, obviously, I'm not going to point out every single bad thing that happened in the game about Liverpool, in Liverpool versus Aston Villa, because I'd be here for about an hour, first of all, and let's be honest, it just didn't feel like we were watching our players. We saw our players perform under par, but we've never saw our players play that bad. It genuinely did feel like it was a professional team against an under-9s team. And guess who the 8-year-olds was? Because it was not Aston Villa, and that's something that I said in my instant match reaction. But to start off with, and this is one of the main things that really grinded me gears, was set pieces. Now, one thing that we know about Aston Villa, and this is something that I said in the build-up to the game, is that we know Aston Villa are very dangerous from set pieces. We saw it at the beginning of this season. We saw it in seasons gone by. We know people like players like Tyrone Mings, absolutely top-class players who can really cause problems in the box for opposition teams. We knew that it was going to be a problem. We know they've got good set-piece takers, but from what I saw, and I'm going to talk about one goal specifically, what I saw on that 4th goal, I think it was the 4th goal, because I'm not going to lie, I haven't watched any of that fucking game back, because I don't really feel like we should. I don't even feel like Jurgen Klopp should be sitting the players down and making them watch that game back. And the only reason he should do that is to simply instill into the head how shit they was, because believe me, them players will watch that game and think, wait a minute, that's me playing football. Joe Gomez is going to be watching that game thinking, fuck me, mate, I really need to sort myself out if that's how I'm performing. Same with Virgil van Dijk. He's going to be sitting there saying, I'm supposed to be the best fucking centre-back in the world, and that's me there. But let me go back to the 4th goal where Ollie Watkins scores off a free kick set piece. What I hated about this mostly was the fact 4 Aston Villa players made the run for the set piece. The ball was hit, it was brought out wide in the box to get a cross in, and there was 4 options for Villa to put the ball in and score. And the worst thing about this was there was no Liverpool players marking them by the time the cross was put in. That's lazy, that's lackadaisical, that's not what a professional team does, let alone the champions of England should do. And I'm not ranting, I'm just talking about the main things that I took away from that game that I just thought was unjustifiable, unquestionable, and just didn't make a whole lot of sense. Like I said, they were just lazy, not marking players, just didn't look bothered, and that's the worst thing. And this is one thing that Man United fans, Arsenal fans, all fans of other clubs can relate to, is you hate your performance most when you know the players aren't really trying. And this is the first time, in win or defeat, where I have got that impression from my players, because that game, even watching it, that was the vibes I was getting. I was like, you man don't want to be in that team right now. You don't want to be playing today. And that's fine, because I haven't saw this consistently over a long period of time. But it was just, what the fuck? But that was a free field day for players like Ollie Watkins, Ross Barkley, and on that set piece, that was a prime example of that. Now, next, of course, the one of the other big things in the game was Adrian, his performance. Liverpool's backup goalkeeper. One thing that I've took away from that game is Liverpool absolutely needs a backup goalkeeper. That's without question. And do you know what, mate? Adrian's done some good things in the Liverpool shirt, but he was never meant to be a top-class goalkeeper. He was never meant to be our first choice. And unfortunately, and I don't think Liverpool fans quite want to admit this, but it does look like that Alisson is quite an injury-prone player. I think when he plays, he's the best goalkeeper in the world, but it's about when he plays. And this might not be statistically correct, but I feel like I'm seeing more of Adrian than what I'm seeing of Alisson. And quite frankly, Adrian, with all due respect, he's not good enough to be the starting goalkeeper of a team that wants to compete for all the best trophies in world football, like the Premier League, like the Champions League. You need an Alisson. One thing, when we won the Champions League final, we won it because of Alisson. Same with the Premier League. The reason why we got many of the points that we did was because of Alisson. And with Adrian in between the sticks, it's only going to cost us points. And I think from when that first goal went in yesterday, from the mistake that he made 5 minutes in, it's not justified, but the players' heads really did drop, and you could see they lacked a lot of confidence with Adrian in that net. And we've had bad goalkeepers before, in Mignolet and Karius, but they were our starting goalkeepers. Now I feel like we've addressed all the positions in the first starting 11 that we've needed to. Positions like left back when we had Alberto Moreno, positions like midfield, like when we signed Fabinho for the defensive cover side of things in the midfield. Our attack obviously is perfect. Now, to be a better squad, to be a better team, we need to start improving places within the squad that we do need to cope with when we've got injuries, i.e. the backup goalkeeper spot. I think that's most important next. Obviously, the transfer window deadline day has just concluded. I'm going to do a video on ranking all the transfer windows from all the clubs and positioning them and stuff like that, but that's going to be tomorrow. Liverpool don't go out and sign a backup goalkeeper. We were linked with players like Gazzaniga, which I absolutely would have took, because I feel like that's good enough to be a backup goalkeeper. But no business was done. And don't get me wrong, I wasn't expecting us to sign a backup goalkeeper, but for me, if you ask me, and I could be going too far, and I'm absolutely open to any opinions in the comments down below, but I don't want to see Adrian start for Liverpool no more, mate. I'm not saying ever again, but not on a consistent basis while Alisson is out. There's rumours that Alisson's going to be out for the next 6 weeks. I cannot cope with seeing that man in between the goal sticks, and that's nothing to do with him as a person. It's simply his goalkeeping ability and the fact I do think he shots all confidence. And with games like Everton coming up, you just can't be affording to make them mistakes, because they can score off goal football. So you're just giving them goals upon goals. So with the fact we haven't signed a backup goalkeeper, and the fact that I don't want to see Adrian in goal no more, and Alisson is out, what does this mean for the Everton game? So you are all asking me, James, what are you saying then? Because Adrian's our only real other option. No, I go with Kelleher. I don't know what you think about this in the comments down below. Yes, he's not the finished article. Yes, he's not even perfect. But the only way goalkeepers get better is by giving them minutes and first team minutes. That's one thing that we know about goalkeepers, and how they improve and how they stay fit and how they stay aware, and the reflexes are on point. And even if it means that it costs us a goal or two, I don't really care, mate. I'd rather start building up a younger, more hungrier goalkeeper that's actually decent with his feet as well, by the way, than a 33-year-old who is clearly all shot of confidence and can barely kick the ball. Let me know if I'm being a bit too harsh in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about the Kelleher situation. But one more thing is the defence, and not the defence specifically. I actually want to talk about something else, but Virgil van Dijk and Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez, terrible in the game, should have been brought off at half-time. But my opinion is, don't be getting on his head. Don't be saying, let's get a new centre-back. Listen, Joe Gomez is our future centre-back, and the future centre-back for England as well. In my opinion, I foresee him starting for both of them. But I don't think a lot of people are talking about enough Virgil van Dijk and how poor he's been at the start of this season. He's been a shadow of his former self. He's been a shadow of that man who first came into the club, scored against Everton on his debut, and then just dominated the defence and just didn't let no motherfucker get past him. Do you want me to tell you why? Because he's Virgil fucking van Dijk, and his cock's massive. Literally has nothing to do with him being the best centre-back in the world, but you know what I mean? He's just a fucking moody motherfucker, and he just doesn't look like that no more. But the defence will get all the blame, Adrian will get all the blame, the back four will get all the blame for the Villa game. But one thing I think we need to address is that midfield. That was absolutely terrible performance from the midfield, and I don't think it's being talked about enough. No leadership, no shape, no commandment. And one thing I will say for sure is if Jordan Henderson is in that midfield, all of that doesn't happen. And I'm not saying that should excuse the result, because that midfield that we started is absolutely still good enough to beat Aston Villa and also not concede 7 goals and also not give absolutely free amount of space to players like Ross Barkley and John McGinn, top class players. But if Henderson's there, you've got a voice, you've got a leader, and he says to them players, boys, what the fuck are we doing? Get your shit together. We're Liverpool FC, and that's one thing I love about Jordan Henderson, and that's one thing I don't think opposition fans really realise from Jordan Henderson, just how important he is to our team. There was a tweet yesterday, Watford 3-0 last season, and then Aston Villa 7-2 this season, both without Jordan Henderson. And like I said, it shouldn't be happening anyway. Our team is should still be good enough. But when you talk about underrated, how about this? Jordan Henderson is the most underrated player in the Premier League, based on the fact people don't realise how much he does for what is the champions of England and was the champions of Europe. The only positives I can really take out of this game was the more offensive side of things. You know, people aren't really talking about the fact we still got 2 goals. And I'm not trying to, believe me, I am nitpicking, but we still look solid offensively. We still caused them problems. Their defence was still having a torrid time with Jota and Mo Salah, who I thought were very good in the game. Bobby Firmino is another conversation for another day. I am going to have to do a video on my thoughts with Bobby Firmino. Let me know if you want to see that in the comments down below. But I hope I haven't sounded like I'm discrediting Villa. Believe me, they absolutely deserved the result. They had the hunger and motivation to keep fighting. And quite simply, as much as it weren't good enough from Liverpool, we were just outclassed on the day. Now, I want to talk about what is next for Liverpool. How do we move forwards from what is the club's most embarrassing result in probably the history, just with how good we are now and how bad that performance was? How do we move on from this? Well, first off, we've got an international break. I am so happy. Believe me, boys, I have never been so happy. I am more happier now than when I got this Sadio Mane t-shirt. And believe me, I was fucking buzzing when I got this Sadio Mane t-shirt, because I think it's the rest that the players need. I think it's the refocus. They're going to be all shot of confidence after that Aston Villa game, mate. Let's be real. And a bit of international football around, the lads who they grew up with and stuff like that. I think it'll be very good for them. But most importantly, the reason why I'm happy there's an international break is because if we were to play Everton, that's obviously our next game, and I will be doing a preview on that soon. But if we were to play Everton this Saturday, we would have no Mane, no Henderson, no Thiago, and no Alisson. Whereas now, with the fact that we've got an international break and we're playing Everton after the international break, we're going to have 3 of those 4 players back, the only one not being Alisson. And we know from what we've seen so far, and especially with how fucking good Everton have been as well, we're going to need the best midfield options that we can possibly get with how poor it was against Villa. And as good as Jota was, we know the team is different with man like fucking Sadio Mane back in the team. And Mane caused problems for Everton all the time. It is at Goodison, it's going to be tough, but it absolutely helps having those players back. And it'll give the team all the confidence in the world as well, I feel. And also, boys, let's be real, it gives Jurgen time to reflect and to address the issues that came in that game against Villa. And not only that, Jurgen Klopp's career is being filled with setbacks from his Dortmund days all the way up until his time at Liverpool. It's only recently that he started really winning the biggest trophies like the Champions League and the Premier League, which before he was coming short in. His career's made of setbacks. That's what Jurgen Klopp does. That's how he becomes a better manager, and that's why he's regarded as one of the best managers in the world. And that's due to all the adversity that he's had to overcome, all the unpredictable results that he's created for this club and the other clubs that he's managed. The Barcelona game, 3-0 down to win 4-0, and teams are probably expecting us to fall off now that we've lost 7-2 to Aston Villa, but Jurgen Klopp won't have that attitude, and I feel like this is the perfect team, the perfect result, and also the perfect game in Everton for our team to be rejuvenated for that game. Therefore, mate, I think this one giant negative in what was a 7-2 loss to Aston Villa, we could end up at the end of the season looking back at it as one of the best things to have happened to this absolute dominant Liverpool team, because we forget this team has been on top of the world in all competitions for the best part of 2.5 years. This team doesn't lose many games. The last team we lost against was Watford. Before that, it was Man City. Before that, it was another team that was months before that loss. This team doesn't know how to lose. When it does lose like that, they are going to be scratching their heads and they are going to absolutely look at themselves in the mirror and reevaluate and ask questions. But it would be naive, not only of opposition fans, but as us Liverpool fans, to completely just forget about everything that has happened and everything good that has gone on in the club, because it is like fans have that narrow mind that one bad performance means that you're going to have multiple bad performances going forward. It's just not how it works. And players like Joe Gomez, people are saying, get a new centre-back. Are you fucking crazy? Like, do you forget about all the good shit that he's done as well? Nico Williams, it happened with him. Against Lincoln, people were calling, get a new backup right back, he's fucking shit. It's like, mate, he then plays against Arsenal, he's arguably the man of the match. And it's just that narrow-mindedness that I don't like from people, and I don't like that people show. And now, and I don't know if you feel the same way, so let me know in the comments down below if you do. But I feel like Liverpool have the slight underdog factor going into the derby. And obviously we're not the underdogs. Obviously we are the betting favourites and stuff like that. Everton will be raising their eyebrow, being like, what lad, you're the underdog, you're the champions of fucking England, mate. But with Everton being top of the league and with the result that we've just had, we know Everton are going to be filled with confidence. Plus it's at Goodison. Plus we know that they're playing good football. Yes, they have defensive frailties and yes, they have Pickford in goal. But we know that we have our own issues as well. So I like the fact that we're going into this game kind of feeling like we've got to play for fucking something. Because believe me, I would have much preferred that lesson that we got at Villa against Villa than if that came against Everton. Because imagine going into this game 4-4, winning our first 4 games, feeling all the confidence in the world, and then getting slapped 7-2 by Everton. Believe me, I couldn't. This YouTube channel would be expired for 3 weeks. I would not be posting. I would not be showing my face, and I would not be going out of my house, because that's just something I can't really deal with, regardless how long they haven't won a trophy for. But anyway, that's going to be the end of the video. Let me know in the comments down below. What are your thoughts? Are you worried about the derby at all? Are you worried about some of the things that could take place? Are you happy that the international breakers came along? Because I know I certainly am. And the last question, and this is a very big one, and this is one for you to think about and get your head round. Jordan Pickford or Adrian? Who's better? Let me know in the comments down below. Anyway, thank you for watching. Massively appreciate all the support you've been showing. We've just hit 30k on Instagram as well. We're inches away from 10,000 subscribers. So get this video shared, get subscribed and get liking. Honestly, all the support means the fucking world. You are all boss. And if you are a Liverpool fan, a Chelsea fan, a Man United fan, I'm not really asked. If you support me, it means the world, man. And I love every single one of you. But nice one for watching this video. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you are on the journey for what is going to be a belter season here on James Redmond TV. Nice one for watching. Have a good day, and I'll see you later.